See, guys go to doctor and it makes their anxiety worse.
Yeah, and
hey,
and
how you
people
doing?
start the show with guys go to the doctor and it makes their anxiety worse. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Fringe Encounter-ish with Matt Crotts from the KYRIE comic guys. Fringe Encounters are usually the first time we've ever met, and I think Matt popped on one stream way back in the day, a month or
I
two
did.
before Chino. Yeah.
As
So
soon as I found you, I was like, and as soon as I saw you were dropping links to come up, I was like, I gotta riff with this guy. I gotta jam with Grim.
And now it happens officially, the long version in the middle of the Denim Wars.
Yes,
But we are just starting
it's a
this
hot
up.
war.
Let's run some stuff to give them time to get here. You know, they might have just gotten the notifications, etc., etc. Let's see if we can't give them something to look at in the meanwhiles.
Oh goodness, yeah. Oh no, you're muted.
Ah,
There we go.
Hello, folks. I'm here on this Fringe Encounter with Matt Crotts, the creator of that. And that was, what is that, Matt? Officially.
It's officially a comic book that I arted and wrote, and it's printed and it's going to be at my doorstep in like less than 3 weeks, and then I mail it out to anyone who wants it. And if you want to get one today, I buy Grim a coffee for every order that's purchased today. So we're all making money together.
Are you saying that if anybody who, like, even if it's just they happen to find you today and nothing to do with this show,
Yeah,
for every book you say you'll sell today, you are going to support the virtually not alone experience of the Griswold Grim channel?
absolutely. That's how wild and crazy we are. It's all in. I mean, how else are we going to fund the Denim Wars, frankly, if we're not this generous?
That's true. And if we're sending it to each other, right? That's where it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
Well, the Denim Wars he mentioned, ladies and gentlemen, are characterized here thusly. There's a terrible villain from some Ivy League school, a teacher, who is engaged in a war on denim. And the defense of the spirit of denim has possessed me so that I think we can probably save America by defeating this man and making America honest again. Choose denim. It's mainly a Twitter thing now, but it's spreading like wildfire. It's probably on the Facebooks already. Okay. And then I have one piece of news that Chad caught this morning, and then we'll do the savings throws and get to the talkie part. Here's that bit of news.
That was a good place to start.
I'm going to take vacation. I might not make videos. Steel yourself. My channel might go silent for a while. I'm planning a trip to Europe. We've got the German festival. We've got another German festival that's coming. I've got an invitation to Peterson and Pajot's Arc. I'm planning on attending that. I don't know how many other things I'll do in Europe, but we'll see. Vendonk isn't my sidekick this year, so I don't know. I've got an invitation to Peterson and Pajot's Arc.
Peterson and Pajot's Arc.
Incredible.
All right, man. Let's start the talkie part by talking about these savings throws. What did you think when that happened the first time you saw them?
I thought it was the best kind of woo that I'd seen in months on YouTube, frankly. It's highly participatory. It's almost like that hypnosis stuff that that Dilbert artist likes to talk about, but it's much better than just sipping coffee at the beginning of a live stream.
Well, I assume then you figured it out enough to explain it to the folks. So here's center stage for you to do that.
Okay, so you've got, I believe it's wisdom. There's some kind of, is heart is the magic one at the end. There's like yeah, you're gonna have to help me, but you're gonna have to throw it. Basically, what we're doing here is we're trying to solve for the algorithm's hypnotic effect over us, and we're trying to steal our defenses against that by throwing dice in a Dungeons and Dragons fashion. How's that?
Close enough. Now the official spiel. Ladies and gentlemen, you are swimming in mind control here on the Griswold Grim stream, where we try to be virtually not alone, but you get a savings throw against it. You get to pick between survival, social, wisdom, or heart. I roll the dice, and if the die you chose lands 10 or higher, you take half damage from the mind control that follows in the rest of the show. If it's under 10, you take full damage from the mind control, but at least you know that it's out there. Survival, social, wisdom, or heart. Choose. What'd you pick, Matt? Oh, you're muted now. Survivalists with the 15.
Good. I always go with survival. I don't know about the chat, but survival's a good. It's been running the numbers lately, so.
Well, it's good to survive, they say.
Yeah.
Socialists with the disciples, 12. Lovers of wisdom, Baker's Coven, that's a 13. Hard folks, just the three of you, just a trinity for you guys. You better get your bonuses. Indigo kids, you got a pair of 7s making a 14. And I don't know, somewhere along the way, we've also started doing a card for the show. There's a little tarot involved. We're not getting into it, but the card for the show is the 5 of clubs again.
The playing card for the day is the 5 of clubs.
True enough.
The list? Yes, any of the first level ones.
I'm gonna get a soda. Anyone want one? Hey, Graham, I'm not in the room, right?
What room?
I want to cast Magic Missile. The room where he's casting all these spells from.
He hasn't cast anything yet.
I am, though, if you'd listen. I'm casting Magic Missile.
Why are you casting Magic Missile? There's nothing to attack here.
I'm attacking the darkness.
Now, those saving throws, you can earn bonuses too, like when the show is muted by putting an emoji of an ear or an ear of corn in the Hive Mind chat, you score a +4 to your next set of savings throws. If you just tell us we're muted, then it's a +2. We like the bonus +2 for the emoji factor.
It's brilliant.
All right. So when is it when you just started? Why Africa? Why ancient Africa? And when did you start this adventure into, hey, I'm actually going to be a comic book guy with my life, unlike you other worker cubicle reds?
Well, the easy answer is that I knew I didn't want to do it with my life, and whether I had to be a cubicle ant or not, I was just going to make something that I thought that I knew that I'd want to read and that my nieces and nephews would want to read. Never been to Africa, but I remember I grew up on Tintin comics, like a lot of people probably in the chat did, Tintin and Asterix and all that, because I was running around in Europe as a kid with my parents. But they,
You weren't just being
then I came back.
There was adults involved.
Yeah, there was adult supervision, but I came back to America and I found out everyone was reading Spawn, and I was like, I don't know, this is cool stuff to draw in my Trapper Keeper, but I don't know, like, where's the adventure? Where's the tomb robbers? You know,
Dude.
Where's the ancient cursed graves of long lost, you know, zombie princes and stuff? So I just said about a decade ago that I was just going to start that.
Really, you come out and you diss Spawn. Oh my god, man.
It's beautiful.
McFarlane
No one
is a
reads Spawn for
legend.
the story. No one reads
What?
Spawn
That's
for
the only thing I read Spawn for. Oh my god. It was like
Grim
the
never changed.
The Crow made magic cape.
Well,
I get it. There was no adventure. It was I mean, comic books had been mostly just superpowers back and forth, not like these are humans you're depicting, or are there special powers in the KYRIE series?
there's a lot of special powers because I'm trying to depict that pre-modern world where people there really are gods and preternatural forces and resurrections and all kinds of weird, strange things happen. So that's part of the mythos. And it's part of the fun of doing historical fiction is that you can play with the imagination of that period. You know, kind of like how Pajot does. What do you think about Pajot? You know, as far as this little corner goes, Pajot seems to be the first and only person to really dive into like trying to get on the crowdfunding scheme, you know, and
scheme is an interesting choice of words.
Yeah. Well, some people get into the scam of it, but so far he's just in the scheme.
Snow White seems to be doing exceptionally well.
Yeah,
I think I ought to run his commercial since we're talking about him, but continue, please.
Well, I think it's interesting. We talked about this a little bit in the back room. If are we showing up to talk about culture, and this is kind of what Chino was about, is my impression from just watching it virtually. Are we just here to talk about culture, or are we here to do culture? You know, and one way to do that is those in-person investments. Another way is to rewrite Snow White, which is a pretty radical thing to do, I feel like, you know, and then sell it to people
I think
for $20 hardcover.
Hardcover, though, that's good for a hardcover.
Absolutely.
I think everybody here has their own agenda, and some people are just here for predatory purposes.
Sure.
For me, it's I don't know how to nudging people toward lucidity. Maybe is like the most romantic way of phrasing it, but like
yeah,
there's a person it's like there's so much more inside people that just isn't activated.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
and like, so when you come across these things, you're like, okay, well, I'm a guy and I watch YouTube videos, and
Yeah.
then suddenly, like, okay, hey, there's Bob from last time in the chat. Okay, so I'm now part of this group, and oh, look, they're like doing things for each other. Wait a minute. So it's like
Yeah.
it's like the surface level of the water is the fourth wall. I'm just behind the fourth wall, and then, like, wait a minute, I can influence things on the other side of this thing. I can colonize Pastor Paul's mind with things like
Yes.
Animals. And it's, for me, since I started entering alternate realities in the form of video games with Super Mario Brothers, which, by the way, I did make it all the way through on one life, but I took the warp gates, so it's not like I didn't get the full achievement unlocked. But
I mean,
like,
that's just smart.
It's like, I would suspect it's not too unlike the indie comic scene. It was sort of an indie-ish game. It was like actually picked up by a publisher, launched, and then poorly maintained. So like all of the players were trying to save it, and that was like there was like the 3-layer game for me. It's like I was in the game, and I was here trying to save it, but the way it's because I've dived into multiple worlds, and that's like Peterson does this thing where he says it's like each hierarchy is a pyramid, so you want to be the thing that gets good at climbing the different pyramids. And at least intellectually, that's what video game explorations do. Like, to be good in this one, I have to learn these skills, and to be good in this one, I have to learn these skills, and so it teaches you that thing. And now it's gotten to the point where, like, I come on this YouTube channel, and this is an invisible game. Like, there's no graphics for it, but like the subscriber numbers is a scoring system, like, and now the Discord is a ship, and the clock tower, and all. It's weird, but it's also,
and people give you money as a payment for these experiences, you know, for inviting them to play the game with you, in a way, you know, like that's really interesting. They'll send you money as thanks for being a fellow traveler, I guess, in this game that you're building.
Well, that's,
would you say? You probably, I know you have a better way to say it.
Well, it's I like to I'm for the virtually not alone, because like there's even if it's just that cluster A schizoid type, people isolate themselves, but when they're in the game, even if it's this one, they're kind of not alone, especially if you're participating in the hive mind chat and stuff and steering the show with things. Then so that's that's what I feel the donations and stuff support is, the creation of the space. They like, all right, that's what he does. He goes, and it's busking, it's grifting, it's shilling, it's all these different things. But the way I characterize for me, the people that join the Shadow Cabal of production executives, thank you guys, are supporting the creation of the space more than anything. And speaking of support, I did say we were going to run that Peugeot commercial, and I need more coffee anyway. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, a 3-minute commercial for Jonathan Peugeot. Son of a... Share that tab. All right, stop it. No, you have to present and then share screen and put it back, because somewhere along the way you closed it like a... there it is. Be back in 3, Matt.
I'm Jonathan Peugeot, and I'm inviting you to participate with us in our retelling and our celebration of one of the most iconic fairy tales.
Don't you love this guy, chap?
A beautifully illustrated storybook, Snow White and the Widow Queen, places our iconic character at the beginning of 8 upcoming fairy tales which will speak to each other and harmonize in surprising ways. Snow
$20
White and the
hardcover.
Kindles an adventure
It's a steal.
which will make you remember, rediscover, but also marvel and wonder at our rich heritage of stories. A heritage that still has secrets to reveal, even after centuries of being passed down to us. In the past few decades, we have watched many of our stories, our fairy tales, our myths become completely exhausted by efforts to deconstruct them, to reinvent them, and sometimes to even invert their original
What do you think
meaning.
about his hand gesture game,
It's come
Chad?
to a point where we've almost forgotten
He's
why
trying
we
new
cared
things.
about these stories in the first place. I firmly believe that for this reason, it is now time to retell and redisrupt our original fairy tales in a spirit of celebration, of admiration, and unashamed joy. I've spent the past 2 decades meditating on the strange narrative.
No, you haven't. That is
Yeah, what do you think?
That's a flat out lie, Pajot. You've been
That
doing
was an
all
interesting.
sorts of other
That's the
things.
highlight of the whole trailer. I feel like is him dropping that bit of lore. You're not buying it. You're not.
No, he was not in a monastery meditating on Snow White. He's been running around on a jet ski with Peterson, for sake.
Elements of Snow White and other fairy tales. After much thinking, I'm now bringing this story to our common hearth we find in the fire of time, ready to present hidden treasures most of us have never noticed. To accomplish this, I have paired up with Heather Pollington, a world-class artist and designer who has worked on some of the most beloved film franchises of our time. Her work mirrors my writing.
Yeah, guys, it's amazing. You'd be surprised what access to people you get when you work with the CAA. Yes, Clint, he stole the common hearth line too.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just a regular wave? Because it looks like it's one of the ones going like, the beach is that way.
Yeah.
Oh, here, let's jump to the buy it part.
Will be this very fairy tale series.
Wow, that's high level. Look at this. Did you see that?
Yeah.
No,
It's a frontispiece.
No, this part. This
of this
like
crowd
the mimetic
storybook
of
mantelpiece
this right here. Watch,
for sure.
watch.
The profits of this crowdfunder will be used to start a new publishing company, Symbolic World Press.
What?
Whose Christian
Say that
funder
again.
will be used to
Say
start
that
a
again,
for
mother.
sure.
Yeah.
The profits of this crowdfunder will be used to start a new publishing company, Symbolic World Press.
Did you catch that? Did you catch how it did the trumpet, the music when he says it too? Watch.
Crowdfunder will be used to start a new publishing company, Symbolic World Press.
But no, but I was just
that
stoked
ominous?
about the way that it was that's an ominous brass music sound.
Profits of this crowdfunder will be used to start a new publishing company, Symbolic World.
See,
World Press, whose christening publication will be this
but
very
that
fairy
part,
tale.
that I was just impressed with that part. Like to put that in people's subconscious, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, well done.
Series. Each book illustrated by world-class artists, Jack and the Beanstalk, Cinderella, The Valiant Little Tailor, and several more are next in line for publication, all existing in the same world and all fitting together like a puzzle, moving towards the final surprising resolution.
So he's basically making it's like the Pajot cinematic universe, but books where they all meet together. There's probably going to be like a team up at the end.
Yeah, they're gonna have to against Promethea because, like, I don't think I'm gonna see anything out of giving him the work of his nemesis. Like, I don't think I'm actually ever gonna get the symbolic takedown of it. Maybe he's just I'm in too much of a creative mode now, but I think we can get his brother on to talk.
Yes. Yeah, we need to colonize his brother. I think there's a lot of overtures in his direction. He seems like low enough, like inaccessible enough that maybe we can get him.
Well, he says enough things that one shouldn't say to make me think that he belongs with us anyway. and
Yeah,
and
he's a little fringe.
I don't think I can say what I'd like to say now without receiving a coffee donation. So there's a secret message you can unlock by participating in the links above in the Hive Mind chat. If I need reminded, it involves our Twitter community, the Virtually Not Alone, where you can see fancy things like this reshare of Pastor Paul Street. Watch. This is how you do. If you are in the community, this is how you do it. You undo the retweet. We'll do a quote tweet over here, and then when you go to do a quote tweet, it says go to everyone. You're like, no, I want to send it to the Virtually Not Alone. Say, see what the Denim Wars. Proceed a face. I think a face is a word. We're doing that. And now that's a public tweet, but instead of appearing on my timeline, it only appears in our the Virtually Not Alone community, which is apparently what these little two guys over here tab is. And you'll see the bubble we all know and love. You'll see the bubble we all know and love. Branding? Remember it.
This we want.
Hey there, I'm Chad the Alcoholic, and the creator of the Friday Morning Nameless channel. I'd like to welcome you to join us for the latest and greatest and most up-to-date information about all the things happening in this corner of the internet. I want to thank you for your time and your attention.
The commercial.
Gotta love Chad.
You can't not. He originally came on wanting to do a news channel, which is sort of like would be perfect for what the product of the Reaping Hall is, and but that never got coordinated, and he's way too creative to be just an anchor. So
yeah,
but it's fact that's for me the development of the game, right? What's happening in the game in this flotilla of channels. That's entirely the thing. Like, and I think it throws like people who come across my work right straight off the bat will just think I'm trying to build a successful YouTube channel. And like, there's a lot of like when you see somebody with the channel, you're like, okay, well that guy wants a lot of subscribers, and he's gonna do these things. And like, that's not exactly what I'm doing here. I think like the more attention I get, the more likely I am to be silenced. But I'm inviting people to play together. And one of the things that you have experience in that it will be beneficial to those that I've tried to cultivate and draw around me is your experience with this crowdfunding material. You're using Indiegogo and Kickstarter. I know for a fact. Just walk us through from like your first. All right, I need to crowdfund this. So like I don't know how much work you had done on the first book when you started, but like roll through some of that part of your history for us, would you?
So the first two books I had mostly done because I'd just been working on them on my own time. and this was at a time, this was like the 2010s, throughout the 2010s when crowdfunding wasn't as hot as it is now, I think, after the fallout of the last 5 years of cultural disagreements have led people to just kind of invest as customers and consumers, but also as creators in new spaces to kind of build alternative creative products. So like I had something going, so then I was like, well, let's put this into a book now while the iron is hot. Let's get book 1 out there. Did that 2019.
All right, slow down. So in this part, are you part of online of what you now call the slums? Is there the comic creators coming a lot, gathering in certain online spaces, and which ones were those for you?
Oh yeah. Well, originally it's kind of it. Well, they call themselves Comicsgate. You may have heard of this.
I heard of Gamergate. I don't know that Comicsgate was on my radar. Was that? I'm guessing it's post Gamergate because that was the big push by mysterious forces to start attacking artistic expression that promoted misogyny and such.
Yeah.
How did it land in the comics, and was it about the same time?
It was a couple years after that. And it was kind of, honestly, it was kind of an interesting response to Gamergate, where people felt like, so like, are all we're going to do is just comment on culture and laugh about it? Or are we going to figure out an affordable way to do something about it? And you may be aware, Grim, but video games cost a lot of money to make, and comic books cost relatively less money. And they're both kind of narrative meme engines in a way, where you can kind of colonize each other's minds through telling stories and kind of capturing that visual experience for folks. So that's kind of what was happening, I think, with Comicsgate. And then there was the slums is just people like you and me operating on a much less visible level. Well, I'll speak for myself. You're pretty visible. I'd say you're in the middle class. But the slums are just people who don't even have channels per se, but just kind of get together and chat about these sort of things and try to collaborate, find people with similar interests, and then mail each other comic books. And then that's expanding now, where it's not just even comic books is kind of like I don't know. People are doing more than that. They're doing toys. They're doing
the means of
what
production, right?
Yeah. They're trying to take the whole thing back, I think, on a very populist level, which I think is fascinating. And I honestly, like, TLC, like, do you just say TLC, or do you just type it? I might have done a faux pas by saying TLC.
I personally
LOL.
say it. I personally say it on occasion just to get the tender loving care reference in the people's heads.
Mm.
But normally, verbally, it's only spoken as this little corner. Everyone has this little corner that we leaned into the naming of it like that, made it something else. Like you guys, whoever started calling it the slums, like the way people self-identify tribally kicks into that. Were you guys doing Discord icebergs where was the gatherings happening?
Oh yeah.
Are they on YouTube videos, chats, or? It's
predominantly YouTube, which I feel like is a limiting factor, because Discord is one of the things I think this corner has figured out a bit better, is that if you have Discord as kind of a gathering space that's more informal, I think there's a lot more elasticity there. You don't feel like you have to put on a show, but you can. I put on a show in Discord, but you don't have to.
And real time. Well, I think a new one, I believe. I'm sorry. Apparently there's internet things. I don't know who was. I thought it was you, so I kept talking, but it was probably me. I don't know what anybody heard. Yeah, I think nowadays the Telegram, a new Telegram group, if somebody was starting out, would probably be more apropos than Discord. I mean, personally, I'm not comfortable with Discord's connection to Tencent and related companies, but like, it's like Facebook. It's like family. I love you. You shouldn't be on Facebook. It's LifeLog. It's DOD. And they silence you for saying that you shouldn't be there. And I think Discord's like that, but with China. You know, it's like, see, I'm quoting the notion of these people called due dilettantes who like look into what the things we're associating with are connected to warn us if we're associating with people we shouldn't. But that's not been done. Like Telegram may be worse than Discord, but I know that I've looked into Discord far enough to be like, I shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
But
well, maybe live streams. Do you get the impression that live streams? Well, you've been struck before, and yet you rose again. You get away with a lot on live streams, and maybe because it's harder for the algorithm to scrub the voice stuff. So maybe this is really the natural place to be.
The official move, if you're gonna say questionable material on live streams on YouTube, is what I first discovered Dutton doing, and that's like you live stream and then pull it and have it somewhere else for people to watch the replays. Like if you miss it live, you got to go find it at the other place. And he's promoting Substack real hard as the new it spot. But I just wanted to call in. I want to get back to your story. I just like to call in to mention that like there's people doing things in these invisible places, and so when I can, I bring that to the fore. So you decide, and so when you decided which platform, or when you decided, all right, it's time to crowdfund, what went into your decision process of which platform and which ones did you end up starting on?
Oh gosh, are you sure that's interesting for our? Well, you're interested, honestly. Okay, I'm seeing why you're asking, because you want to help yourself and others in this corner understand that this really is a viable business option, that you really can do interesting things.
Let me
so I'm happy to talk about business. Okay.
Let me explain it. What the angle is. I once saw this show called Deadwood about a gold rush in Deadwood, South Dakota, and the main characters of it went there and set up a hardware store, because that's what you want to do in a gold rush, and is supply the people with the tools and be the community that has those tools. And in our case, like learning how to self-publish is a tool, learning how to clip video editing, everything, all these means of production, the skill set the Lobster Monkeys need to learn to do those are the tools, the knowledge affordance of which thing to use and how to do it. And so, like, until you have a crowdfunding Lobster Monkey around to ask questions to, we just have to get it out there. So, what was your experience?
Indiegogo, as your chat, I'm sure already is aware. Like Kickstarter is it's almost like Band-Aid or Kleenex. It's just synonymous with crowdfunding now, and that's because it's the largest platform. And there's trade-offs with that because, they're getting 10 times the traffic of Indiegogo, but you're 10 times as likely to be lost in that traffic. So there's the upsides to a smaller platform like Indiegogo is that it's very comics heavy in terms of the traffic. You're more likely to be seen. But frankly, and this is what's exciting, and this is what I think TLC will really key into. I did it again. I said TLC. Is that it's not about being on the platform. You could sell. There's a guy named what is that guy? There's a guy selling millions of dollars of his comic just on his own website. He's not even using crowdfunding. Eric July, and the whole interesting thing is that it's not the platform itself that sells you the comic. In fact, you get very little passive traffic that way. The thing that sells is how well you're playing the game. I guess the great game that Grim plays so well, so phenomenally well. Are you actually creating a virtual space that people can actually communicate in and participate in and affect and change? Like, can you do that virtually not alone thing around an idea that funnels down into a product? that people feel like they're participating in. So it's not a customer thing. It's more of a backer thing. Like people are investing. They feel like this is something that couldn't exist without my support. You know, maybe I'm even helping to write it in a sense because I'm giving real-time feedback to the creative team. Like all of these things that you can't just do in a big box store. Like so the big thing is like not trying to replicate, and you see that with Pajot, I think, and even as big as he is, I think people still have this feeling that they can engage with him. He might follow you on Twitter or something. You can say, I'm looking forward to Snow White and the Widow Queen, and he'll say, thanks for your support. You know, like these sort of things. That's him, I think, artfully on a lighter level than what we can do because he's just so big. But that's him playing the game. And it's a rewarding, that's part of the virtually not alone kind of dynamic, I feel like. So if you play that well, you can sell your book on anything, anywhere. So that's my rambling response.
Band-Aid at some point. Right? You said Band-Aid or no?
Yeah, well, you know, how do I kickstart a project? That's like, you know, that's synonymous with going to Kickstarter. You know what I mean?
My funding needs a Band-Aid, or how's that reference work?
Oh, that it's a company. Like everyone thinks if you're gonna sell a book or a comic or something, and you're gonna raise funds for it, you go to Kickstarter. That's all that means. But you don't have to. Well, that's the thing. People used to just go to Kickstarter. There's actually like half a dozen of these platforms out there now. And there's people selling off their own websites.
I use one called Give, Send, Go to fund the Anna Chino luxuries because it's reportedly the Christian site, and there's also the fancy cryptocurrency options for receiving funds now too. But the way you said Band-Aid made me think that the reason for playing the game, as you called it, this building pseudo relationships between product and community and stuff that are happening online, is kind of like a Band-Aid for what we didn't notice we were losing as we leaned into the screens. Like the Band-Aid version is establishing the relationships we are here with in these different places. Like Yeah, no,
absolutely. And you know, just to encourage, I'm going to be very Vervaekian. I'm going to strengthen your argument, Grim. I've learned this from him. While I say what I feel like saying. It's very Vervaekian. I think if there's pain points in society where people feel isolated and culture is not mapping well into like a natural, healthy ecosystem for us, and you find those Band-Aid moments, like I feel like that's a sign of health, that people are looking for alternatives and they're finding ways to kind of hack the algorithm in a way to simulate something that they, you know, the golden standard would just be for me to walk outside and talk to my neighbor. But short of that, doing this online is a sign of health, because it's demonstrating that we still have that need in that particular direction, you know, that social direction, and helping to, you know, fill my bookshelf full of books from creators that I've virtually been in community with is deeply rewarding, and also a sign of health, even if apparently it looks like a sign of you know, our increasing social isolation. It's the reaction to that Band-Aid response is a sign of health, because we're saying, no, I really do want to know people. I really want books on my wall where I have a story about the creator and how they interacted with me, as much as I have something to say about the content on the pages. So all that stuff is fascinating. That's part of the game, I think. In the game, and by game I don't mean that cynically, right? You don't either. It just means the authenticity exploration that we're forcing these devices to submit to.
I have great news. permission by Clint to where was it? Way up here. He likes Eric July. Oh yes, right here. You may say TLC. It is allowed. Clint has given you permission, and Dolly says it's a great reminder. Some of us need some extra TLC sometimes. And Chad had a fancy pants question. He says, "Are you a corner fella? And how do we do better as corner contributors?" Dude's always looking to do better. You can ignore that part. But are you a corner fella? What is the corner? And why did you start watching or participating? Or what drew you in? What was the hook, I guess?
Well, I found Paul before. Unfortunately, I didn't find him. I think I found him too early. It was my problem, which is why I'm here so late. I found him in like 2019 or 18, or I guess earlier than that. That was whenever he started making his first Jordan Peterson videos. And at that point, he's not playing the game because he's just commenting on a main character in the zeitgeist. But then apparently I hear that you guys had a lot of fun starting in COVID, which is when I was having fun in comic books. So that's when you guys started playing the great game and discovering, inventing new ways to make really cool and effective Band-Aids for each other. And Paul was a part of that and facilitating that in an interesting way. So the moment I realized that, and I checked in on one of his, it might have been one of his Friday live streams, and I realized suddenly that he was actually engaging in and participating in the zeitgeist, and people were colonizing each other's minds and all that sort of thing. Then I realized he was actually, and all these people are doing something really special. So I guess I'm a corner guy now. I'm trying to be. I need to make my own channel, I guess. I don't know. Uh-oh, you're muted. Uh-oh.
I stayed muted I let it run for a couple extra seconds in case anybody wanted to get the bonuses. It's not a requirement to be a channel at any point. I think if you're coming in fresh off of audience or behind the fourth wall zombie, like I'm audience, I watch this programming. The first way to be involved that becomes apparent to you is like, well, I could do this. I'll start a channel. And that's part of why I keep my channel as sloppy as I do, is because to show people that it's just us people doing this. You can do it. It's not, I'm way more conscientious and diligent than that guy. I'll have a classy channel. And Sevilla just upped her opening intro credits game. Like there's this to the extent the content doesn't strike you as like what you normally see on YouTube. Like for me, if you craft it too hard, it's like you're making it for the masses, not for the people around you. You broad shot appeal kind of is your aim, and then when Paul seems to upgrade his camera continuously, I'm feeling like he's drifting away. He's slowly getting out of reach. Paul, if you're listening to this, you need to go back to the 1080p webcam. Your gear is too nice. It's embracing the pillar. Like what I would like to see from Paul is like volunteers and or interns actually doing all the YouTube Lobster Monkey stuff you're supposed to, like especially with all the people gathered around him, like that his hot drops from each homeroom aren't shorts, if not ported over to TikTok, is basically failings on my part to properly convince people to become that the Lobster Monkey thing is worth in pursuing.
Wait, so Lobster Monkey is defined as kind of clipping and replicating, meming this sort of long form content so it can be more cross platform. Is that the idea?
No, well, that's a first LARP ingression protocol stuff. Lobster monkeys are it's a skilled hierarchy. Like, you're a comic lobster monkey, and you got a side of crowdfunding lobster monkey skills. It just indicates that it's a skill set where people have different levels of ability. And like, so the video editing, I don't even know what to call the extra. Like, I know the reaping of the clips is what happens, but I don't know what turning it into TikTok and shorts output. That's almost a different lobster monkey set. So I don't know. I guess you could say skill sets in place of lobster monkey, but for me, it's so much more. Also.
No, yeah,
and
yeah.
Here's the plus
don't
scores
change.
to Dale, Oinky, and McMo scoring bonuses to next save throws. I want to see
Get
more
those
shaky
saving throws in.
hands, selfie cam. Josh appreciates the shaky cam angle.
Thanks. Yeah, this wasn't planned, but I was hoping Chad the Alcoholic would at least appreciate that I'm streaming from my phone.
Your cell. You're streaming from your cell. Let's quit calling them phones, guys. They're cells. Cells.
It's brilliant.
Chad, you're climbing like 8 different lobster monkey skill sets. You're like a masterful reaper, a great loomer. I don't know. There's lots, Chad. You also ask about yourself in people's chats a lot, so you're getting the fraternal regiment embodying narcissistic sociopathy cred.
How about
thanks for making
Can we give him credit, like the Lobster Monkey skill set of turning the camera onto his work while he's streaming, which is, I mean, that's how hacking. That's a completely useless thing to do.
Apparently, you weren't supposed to say that. No. Yes, he does also teach us how to tile. Like, we can learn to tile via osmosis. Watching
you watch him. He'll come up on a stream, and you're just watching him listening while he works, which is incredibly meta. Like, he doesn't need to be on the stream while he does that, but it's actually really useful in a sense because he's performatively letting you know, he's giving you permission to listen while you work. He's giving you I don't know, he's encouraging you to work while you listen. There's a lot of really interesting things going on there. I don't know how. I'm assuming he seems like a smart guy, so I think he's aware of what he's doing there. But asking to come on a show and then turning the camera on his tile work and just listening and working is actually it's really that's really high level meme magic there, and I hope he doesn't ever stop that.
Me too. But if he does, he can keep doing the other thing he does when he's not laying tile, and that's making us cool like this.
Remember, there is no agency. We want what's best.
Make America honest again. Choose denim. Click, click, click. There's a lot of clicking involved in steering a ship. You'd be surprised. Oh, guys, here's a commercial.
That was
very
incredible.
low key and classy. right? I'm surprised at how few people have brought me commercials. Honestly, I mean, 30 seconds to promote your channel, Grim will run it. Why don't you? But only those two so far. However, we will run your commercial again because for each purchase of a book that happens from this thing today, where did it go? Oh, there it is. There it is. For each purchase of this today, I get a coffee, guys. So we should that link is in the chat, right?
Yeah. Could you put it on could you mute it while it plays and then we could just talk over it?
I like jamming out to it, but yeah, totally.
Oh, you like the music? Yeah.
If you want to tell us something special, I'll start it over. Ready? All right, this is your spiel voiceovering your commercial. Ready, set, go.
Yeah, so it's everything that you see here is made by yours truly. It's 150 pages. Books 1, 2, and 3 are all around 150. And yeah, Grim gets a Ko-fi coffee for everything, every issue that's ordered today, because we're trying to meme the monetization into existence. And this is just it's family friendly. It's Christian friendly. It's everybody friendly. But it's an all ages action adventure comic that I think you'll really enjoy. So this is the third book. There's a fourth that's going to be the final. And I can't make the fourth without your support on the third. that's how crowdfunding happens. So appreciate your interest.
I think it's awesome. And synchronistically, which I don't know, feels like the universe cheering you on sometimes. The while you said that we're memeing the monetization was the same part of your clip that says the greatest treasure heist.
It's a bit of a scheme. Yeah. Yeah. But it's an honest scheme. And let's make schemes honest again. That's kind of what we're here for.
Well, if not schemes, then at least the nation of America. Make America honest again with AI lies like Abraham Lincoln and denim. Choose denim. All right, and now as another ploy to get even more views on this, more purchases of your thing today, and more coffees for me, which are to buy me a coffee, not Ko-fi, which, like, what, you comic guys like the Ko-fi one better? See, much like you have to choose a crowdfunding platform, streamers like myself have to choose a dono platform. Do you have experience with this Ko-fi one?
No, I had to make an account to get you Ko-fi coffee yesterday.
That's not a Ko-fi coffee. That's a different brand, man. I'm telling you. This is to buy me a coffee. Oh, gee, this guy. However, in the scheme, I just realized was genius. You're from this place called the slums. You know people there. You've spoken to them, at least in YouTube comments. I'm sure others of them are creators. Why don't you pick two of your favorite creators to shout out, and then maybe they will come and watch this, and the communities will start to bridge a little better.
That's a great idea.
While you think of those two to run, here's a minute for both of us. We've found
Beautiful.
denim to be far more effective against knife attacks than slacks. Choose denim. All right, Matt, you have two. Oh, wait, you took a bite. Hold on. Remember, Embody, there is no agency. Try not to eat while you're on a live stream.
Yep.
All right, Matt, your two friends you're going to shout out on the Fancy Pants Griswold Grimm show.
I would recommend you guys check out well-read comic reviews. It's well-read as in one word. You can look that up on YouTube. He does a great long-form creator interview / critique evaluation of interesting crowdfunding comics coming out that are in the zeitgeist. And then he does just a chaos stream afterwards where everyone comes on and yells at each other about stuff, which is also neat. And they do clips. And then Twitless, you can find Twitless. You can find him on Twitter. He shows up on YouTube. If you just follow him on Twitter, you'll get you'll see where he pops up. But he's actually he's in an institution of higher learning, I'm told, studying comic books, if you can believe it. You can believe that people pay for that sort of thing nowadays. And he actually he is one of us, and he makes really interesting comments about how things are in storytelling and how they could be.
Well, this is the YouTube channel of the other guy, the well-read comics fella, not your Twitless friend, who I'm honestly I'm not gonna bother to look up.
Don't bother.
This is about all the juice I have, Matt. So,
do you have anything you want to say in conclusion?
Thank you so much. It's just been fun to jam with you. I thought we could jam and riff off each other reasonably well. Had a rough start. I didn't remember all the different savings throws, but I think by the end, I think we found a rhythm together. And so it's been fun to hang out for an hour. And thank you, chat, for hanging out with us.
Thanks for reminding me. I do have a couple of starred comments. I can save them for later with the power of StreamYards. Josh, why briefs? Why is me in underwear the first branded item you suggest? And yes, oh gosh, what's happening? What's happening? Indeed. Remember, everybody, you can get bonuses to next stream savings throws by doing this. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe actions. I guess if it's your fresh subscription, you get +7 Indigo. Whatever saving throw you choose next time. Bye.